For Craig's 50th birthday, I did a whole thing where I dressed up as Gene Simmons and mocked him. And I was like, "Now I've had enough of your impersonations of me and kiss," and this whole thing. So
I love that. Full makeup and all? You did full demon?
If you don't mind, I can pull up a photo right now.
Oh, please do. To welcome back the fantabulous, super talented Ace Von Johnson.
Hi.
How's it going?
Hey, boils and ghouls. That might have been an overstatement with all the accolades there, but it's nice to be back regardless. And thank you both for having me. Nice to see you, Kid Cadet and Danica. Howdy.
Thanks for joining us again.
I feel like we need hats too. Yeah, howdy. How's it going?
I was feeling dapper today, so I put the hat on.
I like it.
It's a very dapper hat.
Thank you.
Well, first, before we even get started, of course, we need to ask about your pups. I see them laying over there in the background. So
as usual.
Yeah, yes. They're doing their thing. That's Mila on the outside there. That's my girl of about 8 years. And the brown little boy is my foster Rufus that I've had for about 3 months. And he's acclimating pretty well here. And he had a good vet visit 2 days ago, and they're happy with his progress. He's put on about 10 pounds. And he's doing well. And he just kind of hangs out and he saws logs all day. That's pretty much it.
What a life.
It kind of looks like Milo's just like asleep sitting up.
Yeah, she's just meditating. She does that pretty frequently where she'll just kind of,
God, that's cute.
Harnessing her chakras and whatnot.
Woof. Awesome.
How are the two of you?
Good. I mean, as good as we can be. I mean, things starting to get back to normal, whatever that may be, but we're still doing this twice a week. So, we're really excited, to still be on this platform. So
yeah, no, it's great. I mean, you've been having some great guests lately. I saw Tyler Main the other day. How'd that go?
So much fun. So much fun. I mean, and it's always so interesting because I feel like people get interviewed a lot, and especially someone like him, he does the convention circuit and he does, a good amount of interviews. And then he told us something that he had never told anyone before about, he, obviously back in the day was in WCW. So he was a wrestler, but he never told anyone that he had done a wrestling musical. So he just, blurted that out to us, and he said, we got the hot exclusive on that. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, of course, we're Halloween fans. So anytime you get to talk to Michael Myers, he doesn't normally talk Michael Myers, but it was fun.
Did he do his best Michael Myers impression for you?
And just stood very stoically. Yeah, that's the one. Ace, maybe you can answer this. So one of the things that came up was Danica had come up with a would you rather. It was, would you rather wear the face of Mr. Rogers or wait, who was the other one? Pee Wee Herman or something?
No.
Bill Murray? No. Whatever the scenario was.
Yeah.
So Tyler had asked if they flipped open or flipped inside out the William Shatner mask. Was it flipped inside out?
You're asking me?
We don't know.
No, you mean like the original one?
Yeah.
No, they just painted it matte white, I think.
Okay,
yeah, we thought so too, but
because I thought it wouldn't make sense if it was inside out, because then the nose would be wrong, it would not.
Yeah, and with the hair and all that. No, I'm pretty sure. It's just painted white.
But you never know with Rob Zombie. He could be like, ours, we're going to flip inside out. I don't think he talks like that. That was a terrible Rob Zombie impersonation.
No, Rob, I thought I was a baritone. Rob is really like, I guess the movie's coming out and there'll be some scary stuff. And, a few words a little bit. Or at least I think he used to be. I think he's getting a little more social in some interviews I've seen lately, thinking his old age.
He still looks great, though. Both of them.
No, he looks great. I'm a I mean, I've been a fan of Rob's work since I was like 12, so I'm not putting him down by any means. But I will say, what have you seen that meme that's like a picture of him and it's like Jason Momoa in the microwave for 30 seconds and it's a picture of Rob? I thought that, all due respect, I thought that was pretty funny.
I love it. I love all the memes. But okay, so back to you, my friend.
Oh.
Well, one of the things we wanted to ask about was the Samantha's Gone music video, which is so much fun. I mean, a lot of really great cameos, including yourself.
Yeah.
So how did that all come to be?
That was see if I can get the dogs in there more than me. That was sort of set up by Jason Christopher, CT's bass player, and Corey's he's an acquaintance of mine, but he's such a wonderful guy. I guess I could say we're friends, but we're not close by any means. But Jason and I are really close. And actually just saw him the other day. They came through town and I went to the show. You know, they invited me down, went to the show. And
how was it?
They were great. It was weird to be at like a rock show in a sort of seated environment. But, you know, as soon as Corey went on, everyone stood up. But it was just still slightly strange, you know, with the social distancing and everything. But I mean, at this point, we're all kind of used to that. But the band was great. Cherry Bombs were phenomenal.
Obsessed. We love the Cherry Bombs.
Yeah. You know, they were amazing. Those women are just incredibly talented. And
they were telling me about the law in Nashville where you can't show your vortex or certain parts of your body.
They had a thing on the drum riser that said "Free the Vortex."
Oh my god!
And I thought that was hilarious.
I guess we're in the 1800s. Like, what the hell? Yeah. It's
so of all, I mean, this is Music City, so excuse me. You'd think, you know, performance art and things like that would be a little more liberal, but you know, what do I know? It is, you know, it is the South. So, but regardless, the show was great. I mean, it was sold out, which I think most of his tour, if not all of it, is sold out.
It. Yeah.
I'm just stoked for them, and not just Corey and band, but you know, I've got so many friends that are getting ready to go out for the summer, and Faster Pussycat's going out for like a 2-month run or something like that. So it's nice to see I won't be there, but it's nice to see everybody working again and performing and
starting
the side where people get to go, you know, to shows. And, you know, I mean, I know so many people where that was sort of their quasi therapy and like their social gathering. And, you know, you get these people that go to a show every, you know, 5 days a week, you know, in different states and different genres. And, you know, mostly people that are like sort of, you know, maybe older and have some money to burn. But I see a lot of that in the bands that I play in. These guys are like, it's the same guy, like 5 shows in 6 different states kind of thing. Like, weren't you just in Miami and we're in Sheboygan now? What are you doing here? He's like, oh, I'm just following the tour, bro. I love the band. So,
Sheboygan.
Corey was great. The band's great. They're firing on all cylinders, which doesn't surprise me. And it's nice to catch up with Jason, his bass player. Like I said, he's a buddy of mine. He was part of my like Rainbow Saturday night entourage dinner buddies. So it was cool to catch up, and that was it. You know, it was like my bi-monthly social gathering kind of thing for me. So
yeah, it's crazy like that we have to like learn how to socialize again.
Well, yeah, and it's so, I don't know about the two of you, but it's so strange for me. Like even just going out is like more so anxiety inducing than it used to be. And it's just the vibe is weird. I feel like 90% of the places I've been to, like even going to the grocery store seems like, you know, like, is this okay? Is there anybody? Are we allowed to do this? And I went and saw a movie at a movie theater. What concept?
What'd you see?
At a what?
Yeah, this building, they call them theaters, and there's these seats. It's so strange.
The moving pictures.
I went to see, right? I went to see, excuse me, I turned this phone off. I went to see the new Guy Ritchie movie, Wrath of Man.
Oh, I really want to see that. Is it amazing?
It's really good. It was a slow burn getting into it. And I will say this, a lot of the times, frequently, if it's like a movie theater movie, like I prefer to not see the preview or know anything about it. And my buddy who lives up the street is one of my best friends, Tony Higbee, who plays for Tom Kiefer. He goes, "Hey, what are you doing tomorrow?" I was sitting here growing mold. And he goes, "Let's go see this Guy Ritchie movie." And I said, "Okay." And he goes, "You only send you the trailer?" And I was like, "No, I don't want to see a trailer." I said, "I want to go into it, not knowing anything."
Right.
And I knew it was a Guy Ritchie movie with Jason Statham, and it was going to kick ass, and that's it. And it was a slow burn getting in. The first like 20 minutes, I was like, are we doing anything here? But by the end of the movie, I was like, okay, you got me. So I liked it. I give it 4.5 out of 5 stars.
Oh wow, 4.5.
But maybe 4. But going into a movie theater, I hadn't been to a movie since 2019.
Yeah.
So
very weird.
So strange. It was such a strange feeling. But I was telling a friend of mine the other day, I said, the safest I've felt in public to date was the movie theater, because there was nobody freaking there. There was, I think, 6 people maybe in the movie theater. And so everyone's spread out, and Tony and I are sitting there front, in like the good seats, and with our popcorn or whatever. And there's people like 10 rows behind us that way.
Hello.
Yeah, and they were so far away that we weren't even like, "Hey, let's be quiet during the previews." We were just like, "No, we're just going to keep talking because everybody's 30 yards across the room. So who cares?"
Yeah.
But it was weird. Everything's weird. I mean, you don't need me to tell you that, but
I saw A Quiet Place Part 2 in the theaters. So enjoyable.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Enjoyable.
How many stars of 5?
Oh God. Well, I'm no Ebert. I'd give it a solid 3.
Okay, Kid Ebert gives it 3 out of 5 stars.
Yeah, she sure does. She sure does. 2 thumbs, right?
Okay.
Very enthusiastically up. It's worth seeing. I like the first one better, but
yeah, well, that's every sequel.
Is it Ace? Is it Back to the Future Part 2? Do you like?
Well, other than Back to the Future,
okay,
and Godfather, and
okay.
And I'm trying to think. I almost said Exorcist 3, but Exorcist 3 isn't better than the original. It's ridiculous. However, the Exorcist 3 is a phenomenal sequel. I digress. I can't.
Terminator. That's a good one.
T2 Lab, not out of the park. T2. What? And I would say Temple of Doom is better than Raiders.
Better than Raiders. Yeah.
For me.
Agreed.
Maybe it's a nostalgia thing, but that's my
no. That is the true answer. Yes.
Yeah.
Danica confirmed.
Now, if anyone comes out and says Temple of the Crystal Skull or whatever the hell it was called, I would ask them to leave. I said, "Get out of my house. You need to leave."
The Shia fans, let's
we don't count that.
Get in the refrigerator and explode that way.
There was moments though. I like that they tied it to what was that other movie?
The Spielberg movie.
That's not a Close Encounters. No.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, Close Encounters. Thank you.
Thank you.
I almost said Fifth Element because I was thinking Close Encounters of the whatever.
Multipass. Yes.
Fifth Element.
Anyway, nice tangent we went on there. Danica.
All right.
Yeah,
so we do
how
want
is
to ask.
How was the Corey Taylor show? We end up talking about Close Encounters of the Third Kind, or what? Is it third kind? Fifth kind?
It is third.
Okay.
Speaking of which, okay, hold on. There's another tangent coming here. Okay. Guys, are you guys ready for this new information that they're putting out about the UFOs?
I mean, I'm always ready for ufology.
I'm a little scared. I have to say, since they officially confirmed it, I have to sleep with my closet closed now because I feel like that's where they'd come through. Like every time I walk by my closet in the middle of the night, I'm like, there's probably an alien in there.
Probably.
I feel like, I don't know. I'm terrified.
If you want a really good freak out, you got to read the 3 Body Problem series of books. Whoa. That is, yeah.
I'm not familiar, but I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, the 3 Body Problem. Everybody read this. It's a series of 3 books.
Okay.
Holy crap. It's
about like an alien
that I've ever felt to being like, oh, that is legitimately how any kind of alien things would happen.
3 bottle body. What?
Body. Like it's a physics problem. It's like a quantum physics theory actual problem, like math problem, but Anyway.
Okay.
So anyway.
Okay.
But
Okay.
I highly recommend it. We did definitely want to ask. So we know you're going to be appearing on the new EP from Defiant. So we wanted to know a little more about that. What can you tell us?
Oh, interesting. Yeah, that's funny. Ryan, the guitar player, I was just texting maybe minutes before we jumped on here. I guested on a cover of the Addicts, this old punk band from Britain called the Addicts, cover of a song called Viva la Revolution, and just threw some guitars on there and a little solo and whatnot. It's a band I've listened to since, I mean, not really anymore too much, but when I was a teenager, I was a big fan. And actually, at one point, I almost thought about, we were talking about the Kid Cadet and I were talking about something that maybe I shouldn't mention, but like information, like bullet point kind of thing. And I thought when it comes up later, I'll
Yes.
you know,
Okay. Yes.
okay, yeah.
Yes.
And I thought about throwing this in there, but it was an afterthought. But I worked for their record label when I was at maybe 18 or 19. This record label out of San Diego, it's like all punk rock and hardcore. It's called Tang, and so every once in a while when they were in town, they'd come down to the shop, and I was, just out of high school, and the Addicts would come in, Dropkick Murphys would come in, or Stiff Little Fingers would come in, these punk bands, and I was like, whoa! But you had to be like, that's cool, that's fine. What do you guys need?
Yeah.
But yeah. So again, tangenting. So yeah, the Define EP is coming out. I don't really know a whole lot about it, but we were talking about having me guest in they want to do a video for the song as a single, so that'll be cool. And you asked me about the Corey Taylor video. I don't even think I talked about the video. I think I just mentioned some diatribe about the show. The video, Jason, his bass player, asked me if I'd want to be in the video, and then Corey called me and was like, "Hey man, like I don't know if this is something you'd even want to do," and I was like, "Of course, like why wouldn't I?" And so it was, Corey's band, CMFT, and then Steel Panther, and then this sort of like hodgepodge of like
Tom, Greg, right? That's his name, Tom. The
Who?
singer.
Yeah, the actor guy. He was
Yeah.
like, unfortunately, he was like the one guy in the band that I really didn't talk to. He was like kind of in character the whole thing. Like there was a lot of shenanigans that day, so it's kind of hard to get into too much. But we decided that the band in the first segment of the Samantha's Gone video is called Trek Wars, because as in Star Trek and Star Wars. Because Greg Grunberg, I can't talk.
No, that's a hard name
because my air conditioning isn't working. Greg Grunberg, our drummer, was in Star Wars, amongst a bunch of other stuff, and what a great
Heroes.
guy.
Obsessed with Heroes, one of the greatest shows of all time.
Yeah, it's just super nice guy, really down to earth, and a really kind of kick-ass drummer too. And so, he has his Star Wars affiliation. And then we had Jonah Nimoy, who's Leonard Nimoy's grandson, who's also in The Offspring, which I'm a big fan of.
Oh, that's right.
Hey Noodles.
And oh man, that's cool.
And so we were like, wait a minute, we get this Star Trek element and Star Wars element, which I think I was the one to point out. And then we were talking, we were like, how many of us have action figures? And Greg was like, well, I'm the only one. And he's got some band with all these sci-fi and horror actors, and I can't remember what it's called, but they do covers, and they're called like the action figures because they each have a figure in their body of work. Yeah, is that it? The Action Figures Band. Thank you, Jude. And super nice guy, all those guys, and it was just a really fun afternoon, and we just were goofy. And then when we wrapped, we just stuck around and watched Corey's segment, and it was cool to see the Steel Panther guys. I hadn't seen them since pre-pandemic. And by the way, when we shot that video, for me at least, was like the first thing I did socially in nearly a year. Because I think we shot that like just before Thanksgiving or something like that. It had to have been at least mid-November. And so aside from, ironically, going to meet the same group of people every week, every other weekend during COVID, once it was sort of safe, which included Jason, his bass player. Aside from that, this was like my first social, gathering, and it was this video. So it was weird walking on set and getting a COVID test, and you got to wear your mask when you're not shooting and everything. But it was cool, and getting to catch up with the Steel Panther guys, especially, Michael or Ralph, depending how you know him, because he actually was in LA Guns at one point in the 90s as the front man. And so on and on and on and on and on. But the Samantha's Gone video was really cool to be in, and it was really, a nice little gesture for them to have me down. And it was cool reading the article on the video, on CMFT in like Rolling Stone, and like seeing my name checked. I was like, all right, that's cool. That's pretty
That's amazing. What I also think is kind of fun is like, so Danica and I, like, we book our guests like a couple weeks to a month out. Mm-hmm. And so we booked, like, this is before the video came out or we knew anything about it. We had Corey Taylor and then Dean Cameron in the same week. Yeah. And then the video comes out and we're like, how would anyone else in the world put this together?
Yeah.
And, Dean Cameron was the director, and yeah, it was wild.
It was super cool. It was, I personally didn't really have any interaction with Dean. I think we, maybe got it, hey, nice to meet you, but that was really it. His shouting stuff off stage and whatnot was pretty funny. But of course, most of that, some of it was while we were rolling. I think there was like a part where he stops us and he's like, you guys are terrible. Get out of here. But a lot of it is shot, out of sequence and whatever. But he was pretty funny. Excuse me. The Steel Panther guys are always hilarious. And,
I've said it time and time again. I think Stick Zadinia is one of the greatest names I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
However, and whoever came up with that, if it was him, it's genius. It's genius.
Definitely genius. I don't know if you could start calling yourself that now in 2021, but it definitely works.
Yeah, for him.
Yeah, but, I mean, the band is what it is. It's funny, but yeah, that was I really took this topic and ran with it. But that was a great afternoon and nice to socialize and see a bunch of friends and meet a couple new ones and whatever. And now it will live on in infamy.
That it shall.
Yeah, Samantha's Gone, and then they re-released it with the pop-up tags, like pop-up video from the 90s.
I know. Oh, so nostalgic.
Yeah, that was right. Really cool. I used to love pop-up video. So
me too.
I love a good factoid. So that was cool. Anyhow, next question.
Okay, next question. Okay, so you had tweeted out a picture a couple of days ago of yourself, maybe almost a teenager. I'm not sure how old you were.
14.
You were 14. So what can you tell us about this picture, and was it expressing your love for the Misfits?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's no secret that when I was a young man, that my favorite band, Full Tilt, was the Misfits, and anything accompanying, thus including Samhain, Danzig, Morning Noise, The Undead, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so, I mean, I could go. You thought I talked about the Corey video a lot. I could take this and run. I mean, look right here. Even in my office, I've got this Samhain cassette signed by Glenn Danzig.
Oh, love him.
And I'm a big fan and have been since I was probably 12, which started when I was 10 or 11. I got really into Metallica. The Black Album was everywhere. And, it should be said that I missed, even though I'm known for like LA Guns and my 10 years in Pussycat, I missed that whole wave of music. Like my first albums that I bought with my own money were like Metallica and Stone Temple Pilots and like Weezer. So it was like grunge and stuff like that. And and like Green Day, Dookie, and I was like 12 or 13. That was what was going on when I got into music. And so I got into Metallica, and someone gave me a book for my 12th birthday. Because remember, it was before I got into being a teenager or whatever, 13, 14. And every photo of Metallica, they're wearing a Misfits shirt or something to do. And Cliff Burton had the tattoo. And later on, the Clash, I read, Joe Strummer said, always listen to your favorite band's favorite bands. And so before I knew that, I was like, who is this band that they're wearing shirts from in nearly every photo? I got to check this out. And I went to the store and I got, Walk Among Us on cassette. and I was raised on horror movies, which I'm sure is no secret. And I was like, wait a minute, this band looks like Kiss, sounds like angry punk rock, but it's writing songs about the horror movies that I like. Oh, that's it. And I was obsessed. And that was it. I did the whole, I grew a devil lock, and which is the hairstyle.
As you do. As you
do. And, and I wore it not every day, but here and there, like I go to a show and I'd have my hair down or whatever else. And the photo that I posted, I think that was actually like I got dressed up like to take the photo. This was pre-digital. This is like film. It must have been, and there's a date on the photo. I think it's like 97 or 98. And so, I got all dressed up like, hey, Mom, will you take a picture of me? Like, look, with my thing and my spikes on my shoulders and my like wrist gauntlet and everything. And I still to this day am a huge, the last thing I listened to last night was a Danzig record. Actually was going through it, trying to learn a bunch of the guitar solo stuff. And interestingly enough, unfortunately, when you get into stories like this, a lot of it kind of comes off a bit name droppy, but a lot of these people are legitimate friends of mine now. I mean, I talked to Doyle from the Misfits yesterday or the day before. I talked to Jerry Montano, who is a bass player in Danzig, who's one of my closest friends of 15 years. I wouldn't be sitting here if it wasn't for Jerry. Talked to him last night, and on and on and on and on and on. And it's one of those things where it's always a trip to go back a bit and be like, these bands that I loved as a kid or bands I love now are like your contemporaries or your friends or your drinking buddies, or like, what do you do? Hey, do you want to come be in a music video? So definitely a lifelong Misfits fan. I don't think there's any secret about that. And definitely one of those questions, I get every once in a blue moon, like, if you could play on stage with anybody, who would it be? It's usually Glenn Danzig, even though I think I would be afraid of that. It's still be like my kind of, either him or Alice Cooper, you know what I mean? So
don't even stop. Don't even. But I saw that the Misfits had some dates announced for some festivals and stuff with Danzig. Yeah, that's pretty
the reunion lineup. Yeah, I'm actually there's one in Sacramento, and it's bookended by Metallica, and I'm forgetting Aftershock maybe. I'm thinking because a friend of mine is producing that festival. And she was like, do you want to come? It's on me. And I was like, I might fly to Sacramento to go see Metallica twice and the Misfits. So it's great. I think it's awesome that they're playing out, and it's, the lineup that they have. And I don't know if you two know AC Slade, but he's a buddy of mine for a long time. He's sort of rhythm guitar in the band. And, it's just, as a super fan, it's really cool to see them play.
I'm sure that as soon as my husband hears about this, he is going to be buying us tickets to go see that, because his favorite bands are Metallica and Danzig.
Like, you have to see the rest of the lineup, Danica. It's like a 3-day freaking crazy festival. Yeah, it's pretty wild. But I think I sent it to Danica not too long ago. But now when I think of Metallica, the only Nick says you guys are going. The only thing I think of now is Jim Brewer, like when Jim Brewer does his Metallica impression.
Oh yeah. Jim's hilarious.
We went to go see him a couple weeks ago. He was down here at the Improv. And he sounds just like him. Like how? It's amazing.
Jim's really good at that. And then he's got the Metallica thing down. And then, do you know Craig Gass? He's a comedian.
Yes, I sure do.
And Craig and I are pretty close. And he's known for his Gene Simmons. And because he was part of the Howard Stern entourage. And he was the guy that got in trouble for impersonating Gene Simmons. It was like the 90s still. And he was like calling people, and he's like, now listen, this is Gene Simmons from Kiss. And I want you to know that if you come down here with your lunchbox, I'll sign it for you for $1,000. And Gene Simmons shows up and he goes, no, I'm the real Gene Simmons. And Craig's like, on this on the radio. And he's like, no, don't listen to this imposter. I'm the real Gene Simmons. And they're like going back and forth, and it was a whole thing. So
everything.
Craig, I'm sorry, say again.
I was going to say everything insults Gene Simmons. So I don't know. Well,
he's sensitive, I think. But for Craig's 50th birthday, I did a whole thing where I dressed up as Gene Simmons and mocked him. And I was like, now I've had enough of your impersonations of me and kiss, and this whole thing. So
I love that. Full makeup and all? You did full demon?
If you don't mind, I can pull up a photo right now.
Oh, please do. Oh my gosh. If you message it to me on Instagram, then we can put it up on the screen.
Oh, well, let's do that.
Okay. Brief pause.
Brief pause.
Yep.
Let's see if I can
stay with us, folks.
We can still, I can multitask, by the way. I've gotten very good at looking down at my phone and being like, yes, totally. I understand exactly what you're saying while I'm sending this email and text.
Absolutely. Or you can email it to me, whatever one's easiest. But we're going to get this picture up on the screen. Yeah. Either way. Danica, why don't you pick a question?
Okay.
Ooh,
while we're multitasking.
Oh, sure. Well, let's see if you can do the two at once. So, do you have any tales from performing on the Monsters of Rock cruise?
Oh, wow. I mean, definitely a ton of those because I've done 9 or 10 of them now. Mostly just kind of those late night, like the guy from, I don't want to throw anyone under the bus, the guy from Winger and the singer of the Choir Boys and Don Jameson and me at like 5:12 in the morning on a pool deck, like, no, you're the funniest singer and we're talented and you're cool too. Just sideways annihilated. Because it's a booze cruise. It's a booze cruise, with a hair metal theme. So
the lineup for the next one is Insanosaurus. You're going to be on the next one, right? The LA Guns?
Be on the next one, yeah, and I'm very much looking forward to it, especially with Alice as the headliner.
I've never been on a cruise, but I feel like this is the one I have to do. I feel like this is the one.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to pull this.
Go for it. Well, just
link up.
Go for it.
Now, can I send you a link?
Yep.
Perfect. Let me do this.
Link me. Technology's fun.
Technology, yeah. And as I'm slightly subpar multitasking and kind of failing at the same time, here. No, this has not been seen publicly yet.
Oh.
So I may get in trouble for this, but whatever.
Oh, okay. So this is like, okay, I see what's happening here. Okay, let me.
I sent it to your Instagram.
I see that.
Maybe don't play the full thing. Maybe just like the first 30 seconds or something.
Okay. I'm sending it to Jude, who's going to put it up on the screen.
We're all on our phone. You guys enjoying the show?
Should we just text each other the questions?
Yeah.
Totally.
Send me memes. Okay, so that's going to be exciting. So the Monsters of Rock cruise, I believe, leaves from Miami next February.
Yeah, that's your neck of the woods. Are you going? Are you guys going?
I don't
Jude,
know.
make it happen.
It's going to depend on like what's going on in the convention world because there's a lot picking up next year. So we'll have to see.
I mean, the cruises are always a blast. I actually just went and had ice cream yesterday with the head of production.
Really?
So, yeah. Her name's April. Hi, April.
That's so fun.
Right under the bus. She had a huge ice cream.
What kind of ice cream? Wait, what did you get?
I had a double scoop of some weird coconut thing and Rocky Road in a waffle cone, as you do.
As you do.
And she had a waffle bowl that was just like a dome of sugary goodness. And it had like all the, what do you pour on there? Like chocolate and caramel and nuts and, like the whatever you need when you get insulin or something like that. But
you're a caramel. Okay, so Jude
my joke
is saying,
failed right there.
No. Jude said there won't be audio, but he can still share it.
Okay, well then that's no fun if you can't hear the audio, but you at least get to see me as full tilt Gene Simmons.
Okay, let's do it. I think it's okay. Oh wow. Okay,
I can do this. I had to do this so many times. It's me, Gene Simmons, and I'm tired of you impersonating me. and I said, your comedy's almost as bad as Tommy Thayer pretending to be Ace Frehley. Now, and I can't remember the rest, but I mean, I must have done 15 of these takes, and I had a whole script written. If you watch my eyes, I keep looking to the right side, and I go, check out our new logo, gas. And you know what happens if you take the G out of gas? You get ass. You're a jackass, Craig. And then it cuts to his jackass or butt or whatever.
Demonetized. Oh my God. So also your outfit, did you make that yourself?
Yeah, I spent. Okay, so check it out. So they flew to Hawaii. Courtney Cronenberg, who's also a pretty well-known and respected comedian and writer herself, is Craig's best friend. And, you know, through whatever channels, I mean, it always, you know, going from whoever to Corey to whoever, it always, or Tyler Maine, it's like always like, how do I know these people? But I know them, and like, you're like, hey man, where you been? Courtney and I and Craig are good friends, and she goes, and they're best friends, and she goes, we're putting on this secret roast for Craig's 50th. And it was like, you know, February, it was right before COVID hit last year. And she goes, if you want to fly out, we'd love to have you. If not, feel free to do a roast, you know, a digital video. And so thanks, Eleni. And so we did me and Ricky and a couple other people just filmed stuff, and I wanted to steal the show. And so I put a lot of thought and time into this Gene Simmons ensemble, and admittedly I'm at best casual Kiss fan. And and I wanted to kind of like make it look like, you know, you look at it and you're like, oh, he's dressed like Gene, but you look up close and it's like, wait, that's tinfoil and like electrical tape. And
as you do.
And I have this cloak thing, you know, from, you know, trying to look creepy or whatever. And I fastened it so it looked, at the end of the video, I do like a bat, you know, like a Gene Simmons bat wing. And I had this tinfoil all around me, and I had a cod piece. Actually, there's a point in the video where I go, now, if you click on my God piece, it'll take you to kissonline.org, where you can order your own Gene Simmons lunch pail. Well, I'll sign it and personalize, you know, this whole thing. And
that's so Gene Simmons.
And they had all these people out, you know, it was like Duff from GNR and like all these celebrities. And Craig sent me a video of them in Hawaii the next day. And he's like, your video fucking stole the whole goddamn show, man. And I was like, great. Sorry for swearing there, but, you know, I had to make a point. But that was what you know, and he was like, man, that's the funniest thing anybody's ever done for me. And anyhow, blah, blah, blah. Craig Gass, I love him. And Gene Simmons, and now you've all seen it, and I'm embarrassed. And
you shouldn't be embarrassed. You fucking killed that. I mean, like, that was really good.
Well, trying to dub over it was also kind of, yeah.
It's tricky, but you're a voiceover actor, so you know.
Sometimes.
You know how to. Have you seen my Spaceman?
No.
Oh, I'll show you this. I have a pretty good Spaceman.
Okay.
Yeah. I think we play the game now. What do you think, Danica? Yay! Okay. So here's how this works. So Ace sent to me 5 facts about himself that maybe most people don't know. Danica especially has no idea. So he sent me 5 real facts, and I came up with 2 fake facts. So this is 2 lies and a truth. So Danica's job, she just has to determine which of these 3 is the truth, and then Ace is going to tell us which is the truth. So here we go. Try not to give anything away, Ace. Here we go. The first one. Does he always prepare a rum ham for every Thanksgiving? Did he ever perform with a guitar owned by Lindsey Buckingham? Or did he go to a college prep school where he was the only boy? Danica, which do you think is the real one?
I'm gonna go to prep school. Let's try that.
Ace?
You nailed it. That was it. I went to a college prep school, and to be fair, I was the only boy in my graduating class. It was a graduating class of about, I think, 7 or 8 people, and it was all young ladies and myself, and it was pretty enjoyable considering the contrast of public school I did 2 years earlier to that, which was terrible. It should be noted that I went to Poway High for my first 2 years, which is the high school that Blink-182 is started at,
That's awesome.
as well as Unwritten Law, who I would later go on to perform with. That's neither here nor there. And I wanted to just say, rum ham!
I mean, it could be a new tradition for Thanksgiving. You know what I'm saying? Like the next time it'll be true.
By the way, this was the thing I was referencing earlier where I was like, there's a thing with bullet points.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
She knows.
There we go.
She knows. All right, here's the next one. Which of these is true, Danica? Did he take makeup and sewing classes? Does he have a leg sleeve of Elvira? Or was the first song he learned to play on the guitar Foxy Lady by Jimi Hendrix?
You know what? I'm actually first instinct is Elvira.
Ace?
That's a very solid guess, but no. Sadly, I have no Elvira tattoos, even though I adore Cassandra Peterson. The number one is the truth. And I took several makeup classes and 2 sewing classes in middle school. And I remember, well, there's some backstory here. I don't know how much time you want me to rant on about it, but because I'm good at that. The sewing class, I mean, I was like, into making and doing my own stuff. I mean, I still am. And I wanted to learn to sew. And so my mom, being a single mom with a couple jobs, looked for these summer courses to stick me in to, basically keep me sort of in school. And so I signed up for sewing and I learned to sew. I think I sewed the pants I'm wearing right now, maybe a week ago. Anyhow, and the makeup, my cousin, here's a factoid for you. My cousin is a movie director named Mark Lester, and he did Commando and Firestarter and Class of 1984 and Class of 1999, which I was on set for as a little boy during the climactic conclusion, which is basically like Blackboard Jungle meets Terminator 2. And I remember, and also growing up watching horror movies with my father, I wanted to do special effects makeup. And, I was 11. And so the prereq for movie effects makeup was basic makeup. And so I again was the only boy in this class of, I don't know, maybe 20, like 10 to 12-year-old girls learning to do eyeliner and, cover up and lipstick and all these things. And I do remember at one point, and I eventually got to the next thing where I got to do the movie effects makeup as well. And I remember my mom being like, oh my God, my son is in makeup and sewing classes. And she was like, and she made some comments. She's like, someday your husband will really appreciate like all your talents. And I remember being like, what do you like? I didn't get it, but regardless, they're talents that I appreciate having now.
Look, it paid off for the Gene Simmons look.
I mean, yeah, I did that makeup. I did that makeup myself. Nobody helped me with any of that. And so, yeah, I think I frightened my mom or whatever. I think she thought more of it than I did as just sort of a creative outlet. But yeah, so that's the truth to that. And on that thought, by the way, happy Pride, everybody.
Happy Pride Month.
Yeah.
Woo-hoo!
And so in case anybody thought I was sort of going somewhere with that. But I remember later on being like, Mom, were you concerned about my interests? And she was like, well, I just, I was letting you do your thing. And I was like, right, good answer.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm still wearing frickin' eyeliner and my toenails are painted and everything. So
nothing wrong with that.
Not at all. Not
Danica. I feel like we should tell him, so Danica and I also took sewing classes in middle school, and we made we made a 5-foot tall Mr. Hanky from South Park. Like we sewed it and we used to lug it around with us Why this big brown Mr. Hanky? What were you going to say, Danica?
That my sewing skills after that kind of actually kept going, and like I have been paid as an overhire stitcher for like Shakespeare companies, and like I know how to make period costuming.
Wow.
So it is a very good skill to have.
That's amazing. That's really cool. Period pieces?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's rad. That's way cooler than my like
stitched doublet
cross stitch.
And I'm still sewing Mr. Hanky's. Anyway, okay. Here's the next one. Which of these is true, Danica? Here we go. Did Ace spend a month in Japan? Did he once hit the jackpot on a slot machine in Vegas? Or did he sing karaoke with Bill Moseley at a convention?
Please let it be number 3. Is it number 3?
I love Bill Moseley. I wish we sang karaoke together. No, I spent a month. I spent a month in Japan when I was playing with legendary New York hardcore punk rock Murphy's Law. I was with Murphy's Law very briefly when I was like 24, and we did a month tour of Japan, and that's like the equivalent of touring California for a month because it's a very small country. And I think we had something like 26 shows in 30 days. And I have many, 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 many stories about that. One of which is an episode of Adam Green's Horrified. So if anybody's bored enough and likes horror movie stuff, or Adam Green and his Holliston show or his Hatchet franchise, he's got a web series called Horrified, which I don't know if Tyler's on one. I know Derek Mears did one, but anyhow.
That's cool. Jason. Right?
Yeah, I mean, and again, going back to talking about like how do you know these people? I talk to Derek at least every other day.
He's one of the only Jasons I haven't met. I met CJ Graham, of course, Kane Hodder.
Of course.
Is there another Jason in there?
Yeah, Frank Castle. Wait, no, that's the wrong franchise. That's Halloween.
Yeah. But I have met him.
Who else? Him. You know what? I can't think of any other.
Nick Castle.
Nick Castle. Yes. Frank Castle's the Punisher. See, I'm a mess. Derek is probably one of the sweetest human beings you could ever meet, and I know a lot of people say that about a lot of people, but truthfully, he's one of the greatest people you'll ever meet. But Bill Moseley and I have definitely done a few conventions together, and I could definitely tell you a few stories. And I just saw him like 2 months ago here in Nashville. I went down to see to have lunch with Zach Galligan, and Moseley was there, and a couple other people we know, PJ Souls, and just from doing conventions myself, as you two know, it's like you become friends with these people. See, you watch these movies or whatever, and you're like, yeah, I love the movie, and I grew up with this or whatever, but you're like, that's my friend now. Like, there's this cool thing, and carries over to music and art and everything else, comedy. Anyhow, I digress again. Spent a month in Japan. I had a wonderful time. I love the culture. That's where I learned to truly appreciate sushi. And if you've never been to Japan and you're a fan of sushi, you really don't know what it is until you go there and spend some time eating, as I did. And a lot of stories to be told from that. And if I could do it again tomorrow, I definitely would. And it's one of the few places in the world that I could openly say I would love to go back to.
I want to go for New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Second's on my list.
Yeah.
It's just such a wonderful, it's just such a beautiful country, and the people are so there's so much culture, and people are very polite and kind, and I remember some of the first shows we were doing, in between songs there was no applause because it was considered rude. So they were like quiet,
silent. Yeah.
So yeah.
Awesome. Warrington Gillette. That was Jason. Which one was he in? I forget. Anyway, he was the first face of Jason. All right, here is the next one. We have 2 more. Okay. Which of these is true, Danica? Did Ace get to wave the green flag at Bristol Speedway? Did he music direct Twisted, Whoop Whoop, the live band? Or is his favorite actress Julia Roberts?
Oh, dear. Ooh. Oh, this is a tough one. I'm gonna go with Bristol Speedway.
Wrong.
Womp.
It was I was the music director for Twisted's first live band.
Oh,
And,
that's cool.
Shout out to our ninjas.
What's up, everybody?
Whoop, whoop.
Whoop whoop. And yeah, that came out just like the last topic from a came to fruition from a convention. I met Twisted's manager George, and he and I struck up a conversation and mentioned that the two guys in Twisted were looking to put together sort of a what was the expression he used? He wanted to sort of market it to the, I think it was Revolver crowd, like sort of metal. And I mentioned, having put together some bands for a few people before, which, most of the time, even this Twisted thing, I've never talked about anywhere. And so there's been a few people over the years, some successfully, some not, that have hit me up and said, hey, I'm coming out to LA and I need, a band for 5 shows. Excuse me, this soda water is attacking me. But and the convention that we were at was put on. It was a Rock and Shock in Massachusetts. That was put on by one of my closest friends in the world, Gina Migliozzi, and that's literally her convention. And he was talking to her about it because she's been in the music industry for 30 years as well. And she goes, you should get Ace to put a band together. And so initially, for about, I'm going to say at least a month, on paper, I was intended to be the live guitar player until something else came up and conflicted with that. But it was, I brought in Ben Graves on drums, who's no longer with us, who's a good friend and I miss dearly. He was with the Murder Dolls and Pretty Boy Floyd and a ton of bands. Ben and gosh, who did I bring in on bass? I can't recall. And my buddy Ashes, who plays for Devil Driver, on guitar. And I don't think he stuck around very long. And then my friend Tiffany, who used to tour and travel with Alice Cooper, on keys, and she sort of wedged herself in there because she was really into Twisted, and so she called me and she said, "Hey, I heard you putting this thing together, and if you don't put me in the band, I'm gonna kick your ass." And so I said, "Whatever, you're in charge, lady. Whatever you want." And so that was and I can't remember who I put on bass initially, and they did some rehearsals, and I think like a weekend or a week's worth of dates. And then there was some rearranging, and of course now everybody's, obviously Ben is deceased and whatnot, and whatever else. And I was supposed to do the tour as guitar, and then at the time, this must have been 2000, I'm going to say 15, give or take, at least 5 years ago. And they were like, think of what you want to paint your face as, and I was like, oh man, just do I have to? Can't I just be me? And it's taken me so long to get comfortable in this skin. Why do I have to start over? And so that was that. And it was interesting. And, I didn't really interact too much with the two guys from Twisted, who I can't remember their names. I apologize. It was mostly me interacting or corresponding with George, and sent the band off, went down to a rehearsal to kind of, music director, whatever. And that was that. And so it was, just one of those things that I did in between tours and whatever else. And I've completely forgotten about. Somehow Kid Cadet Night came up. Maybe we were talking about Fago. And
yes. So we were somehow talking about Gathering of the Juggalos, Chris Hansen being, he's going to clown up.
Yeah.
I don't remember how we got into conversations about Juggalos, but it happens. You know what I mean? It happens.
Yeah.
Jamie Madrox and Monoxide Child.
Yes.
As you do.
I think Jamie was the one I knew.
All right. Are we ready for the final one?
Sure.
This is it, guys. The last and final one. That's right. Danica, it's okay. It's okay. This is not. Okay. Today's audition for the touring company of Rock of Ages. Did he adopt a rescue pig named Mr. Hammy? Or does he have his voice featured in several Netflix shows and films?
I think for this one, I'm going to go with 3 because of my understanding of your vast voice acting career.
Ace?
Nailed it. Yeah, that's it. Number 3.
I finally got one.
Although I really do
Okay.
I would love to have a pet pig named Mr. Hammy, and if I ever do, I will name him such. Yeah, I think I've got 4 Netflix things. A horror series called Marianne, where I voiced the lead character's boyfriend for I think 2 episodes, and it was a dubbing job, so it's a foreign series, and they dub it into English. And then the last thing that I booked that was Netflix was The Woods, which was a series, and I think I'm in nearly every episode, and I play Wojtek, the creepy camp counselor, possible suspect. And I did a bunch of background voices for Money Heist season 3 or 4. And I think that's it for as far as Netflix exclusively goes. And a lot of this, again, ties into the horror community and convention life, because the guy who booked me for most of those, not all of them, Joe Lynch, is what did he do? Wrong Turn 2, and he's going to whoop me for forgetting his resume, but he's done a ton of stuff and become quite a good friend. But Joe and I met through Adam Green, and who I mentioned earlier with the Hatchet franchise and Horrified and everything. And they would do every December, they do a dog rescue 48-hour podcast marathon that I've guested on a few times. And so that's, I think, initially how Joe and I met a few years ago. But he, ironically, a girlfriend of mine was the assistant. She started as she was just a friend that was a waitress at the Rainbow in LA. And then she became an assistant to a voiceover casting agent, trying to get my details right here. And she was like, hey, I know you do voiceover occasionally. We're doing this thing. You want to come audition? And I went down there and I booked whatever the job was. And then they had me, 6 months later, come down and audition for something else. And I walked in the room and Joe Lynch it's like my buddy. And he was like, oh, cancel everyone else for the day. He's hired. And I was like, I haven't even read for the part yet. And he's, doesn't matter. You're hired. So like a lot of things in the entertainment industry, there's some nepotism involved. And admittedly, I was happy to have that. And so he stuck me in the booth and he goes, read for this character. And I read for it. And he, I was like, yeah, there you go. You're now whatever it was. And he's since called me for a few things, some of which I've done and some of which booked and some of which I haven't. But, it's always nice to get your foot in the door and stuff like that. But anyhow, ranting as I tend to do. Yes, so you can hear my voice in several Netflix television shows, series, and films.
Awesome. Woo! And then we look forward to meeting Mr. Hammy.
Mr. Hammy. Yeah.
Mr. Hammy, the adopted pet pig. Well, we have come to the end of another stream. I guess let's go over our upcoming guests first, and then we'll do the wrap it up. Okay, so here we go. This is who we have coming up for the rest of June. We're starting to work on July. Sorry, Jude, I threw you off with the graphic. Okay, so next Tuesday we have Matt Frazier from American Horror Story Freak Show. Next Thursday, Joanna Ray, Mystery Science Theater 3000. Following Tuesday, we have Petey from Spooky Empire. Following Thursday, we have Lucas Rossi. Then we have a special bonus show. We're welcoming back Ryan Roxy. And then couple Tuesdays from now, we have David Cook of American Idol fame. And then Ace, we'll have to have you back again because I think
I'm still here.
You're still here. Before we wrap it up, any final thoughts you want to leave us with?
Adopt a dog, be a good human, and take care of yourselves. And give me a follow on the Twitters or maybe Instagram, even though I don't really use it anymore, at Ace Vaughn Johnson.
Do you want to tell us about your Patreon?
I have a Patreon. It's been a really great outlet, creativity-wise, and it's just a really wonderful community of people that are in there that it's nice to share with and have as a support system and sort of digitally communicate with and whatnot. And I love it. If anyone wants to jump on board, there's 6 tiers, and it's done really well for me, especially with COVID and everything, kind of hanging out. And there's Eleni. She's definitely in charge of a lot of it. and especially the Facebook group. And thank you. And yeah, and like I said, just adopt a dog, and I got my Stand Up for Pitch shirt on here, and I got my Foster back there showing us his goods. Like covers my.
It's all right. We appreciate that, but all good.
There, so you're not getting the
censored.
Censored. It took me a while to cover that up. But yeah, that's it. Just foster, adopt, rescue, cat, dog, squirrel, Mr. Hammy.
Mr. Hammy, the foster pig.
Those are my parting words. And thanks again, of course, to both of you and Jude for having me again. I really appreciate it.
Yay! Well, until we meet again, which hopefully will be sooner rather than later, we will see you soon, Ace, and we'll see all of you guys next week. Be safe, everybody. Au revoir. Yes.